Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Swyftx Squawk. I'm Pav, lead market analyst here at Swyftx, and I'm going to walk you through just an ongoing continuation of some of the key trends that we've been seeing over these last 2 weeks. Now, before I get started, I just want to shout out, if some of this does get lost upon you, recommend you go check out the last video on the YouTube channel. It'll help clear a lot of the gaps up of why we're seeing the market move the way it is right now when we're talking about its impact, the impact of inflation data. Now, last week we saw inflation data come in as nothing more than a mixed bag. At the start of the week on Tuesday, we had consumer inflation come as expected. If not, the year-on-year figure was actually better than expected. We saw the markets absolutely soar soon after. Thursday came around and we saw the rate of wholesale inflation, so the impact of inflation on wholesalers, which again are going to impact consumers eventually, rise to levels not really forecasted. It was 4.5 times the expected level. So this has really delivered that haymaker that we spoke about last week. Now, this is all very important as we head into the back end of this week, as we have a key event on the calendar on Saturday, midnight our time. So the Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, who's also the head of the independent committee that sets the monetary policy that we've been speaking about for these last few weeks, basically have a symposium which will attract journalists, central bank dealers, anyone in the financial and economic industry of note, to Jackson Hole in Wyoming for obviously gorgeous, picturesque mountains, but really at the end of the day, his speech and the sentiment around his message to the markets, it's really going to end in two ways. Will there be these cuts that the market's expecting, which I'll touch on in a minute, or are we going to see a bit of a cold shower moment for the markets? Now, when we look at some of the data, we can see that the expectations heading into the September meeting, there's only really 3 key dates left for potential rate cuts in 2025. Right now, the chances of an ease that the market's seeing is 75%. Now, this was 80% only yesterday, and we're seeing the market potentially realize, hey, look, what if there isn't going to be the cuts? And again, interest rates basically set the tone for the cost of money, the availability of money. We saw what near 1% interest rates did at the back end of 2021 and 2020. Right now, if we're staring down the barrel of a market that's expecting something but doesn't receive what it's expecting, I think that's the key call out. Right now, what Jerome Powell is going to say in Wyoming this weekend will have a big impact on what the market thinks is going to happen into the back end of 2025. So we're thinking about how people might be perceiving opportunity in the crypto market. Obviously, we've got what price is doing today, but what is the market forecasting will happen to price in the coming 3 months in terms of interest rates and the impact that's going to have on investors and speculators. Now, if again, we look into the trends a month ago, which we could see here in the very light color, we can see that the consensus was heavily in the camp that we would be seeing potentially less cuts on the table. Now, move that forward to more recent times, we've seen the estimations really skew more to the fact that we could still see anywhere from 2 to 3 rate cuts. So again, if this more recent acceleration towards the market's expectations gets delivered again, that cold shower moment, it's really going to send potentially quite a bit of a shockwave through the market that it may not have been expecting. And that's, I think, what's key to call out as we head into this transitionary period into Q4 from Q3. That's all from me here today at Swyftx. Obviously, we'll be back next week to dissect how this all landed. But the key takeaway is we've definitely been in a bit of a deadlock for the markets. And so, yeah, really this weekend serves as the next key foothold for how the markets may make their next move. Thanks very much.